In this video, I'm going to show you the costed invoice functionality in Sybiz Vision job costing. So just before we get into it, I'm just going to edit a job and just explain the various invoicing methods that you have available. So this is an advanced job, so that means that we can't do the simple fixed charge job, but if there was a fixed charge that we wanted to actually apply, we can do that using any of the other methods, either the cost plus or the estimate. I'm going to revert this one to estimate and just save and close out of there. Now we'll go to the costed invoice section and we'll just show you, just using a couple jobs just to show you some of the functionality. And basically down the bottom what happens is the system sort of defaults to wanting to invoice all of the remaining charges of the particular job, and it's easy enough to change that around. So for example, if you wanted to do a right click, you have the ability to set the total invoice charge. So if you wanted to round it up to the nearest $1,000, you could certainly do that. You also have the ability to do things like change the markup percentage. So here it defaults to the weighted average markup of the items that are already on the screen, and that will adjust accordingly. You can also say, look, I'd rather sort of start at a progress percentage rather than 100%. I can just roll it back to 0 and then decide exactly what it is I want to charge through this invoice. Now there's also right click options for the ability to show all and invoice all, and you can refer to the help file for more information on what that particularly means. But I'm just going to leave it there for this particular invoice, and we'll go back to the job that we initially looked at and start from scratch with a new job invoice, and we'll pick up the job that we first took a look at, Mrs. McAfee's mansion. Now this job is based on estimates. Just before we get down to the grid though, we'll just explain a couple of the options here. We've got delivery details if required, there's address details if they're not already known, you can put them in there. Various instructions pertaining to this particular invoice if you wanted to enter those. A little bit of a summary of the job and some retention information. The retentions will be covered in a separate video clip because there's quite a lot to it. And then there's the remarks as well, just for reference. So you may be looking at the grid thinking that's a little bit busy, I don't have a lot of room there. So what we can do is just roll up the ribbon bar, and that gives us a little bit more room to play with. Now you'll notice that this job we have set the invoicing method to estimate, and there's actually two estimates in play on this particular job. So what we can do is we can just group by estimate and have a look at the various options there. So let's just say, for example, we didn't want to invoice this second estimate at this point in time. We can just toggle those checkboxes off and then process that through once we bring the ribbon bar back. So that is the costed invoice functionality in Sybiz Vision. So thank you for watching, and thank you for choosing Sybiz.